What is up, my friends on the internet? Back at it with another video, and back at it with you resting atop the glorious Honda Trail 125. It's another Trail 125 video. I'm sorry if you guys are here for other bikes. My attention is fully on this right now. More Triumph stuff is coming, more Super Cub stuff is coming, more Harley stuff is coming, but for right now, the Honda Trail 125 has all of my attention, so that is the content you are getting. I actually, full disclosure, I actually filmed this entire video already. Basically, I filmed an hour of me installing parts on this bike. It ended up being just about an hour to install what I did today, or not today, this was several days ago when I filmed this. What I'm gonna show you today took about an hour to install, and I filmed it all, but I realized when I was showing you little detailed sections, a lot of times, just because of using this new camera and not having it fully dialed in, there was a few times where the camera was chasing focus, or audio got a little weird, or even what I was trying to show you wasn't fully in frame. So I don't want to give that to you. I don't want to present you with a subpar product. So I'm reshooting it all today. I'm not going to go with the full cinematic staging of doing everything I did then redoing it. It'd be silly to put all the stock parts on and fake it till I make it, you know. I'm just going to show you all of the parts installed. And kind of talk you through the little bit of hiccups that I had, because there were a couple hiccups or a little bit of learning curves that I'm going to show you what those were so I can prevent you from having the same issues. The whole, I guess, day of work was completely focused on powering my devices on the front end of the bike. It was all about power and accessibility for my devices. And since we're talking about powering things, I think it's a perfect time to talk about the sponsor of today's video. And the sponsor of today's video is crucial for powering this channel. So it goes hand in hand, perfect opportunity to tell you all about today's sponsor, which is the subscribe button.
Are you lonely? Are you just trying to figure out how you want to spend your day? There's nothing to do. You're just out in the world all by yourself. All your friends are busy. Your partner maybe went on a girls' trip. You're just by yourself, hanging out. The coffee shops are lonely. The parks are barren and lonely. And you need something to do. You need some way to pass the time. Well, then you're in luck, because today's sponsor, the subscribe button, is the cure for your loneliness. Just 1 to 2 clicks of the subscribe button opens up a world of opportunity. There's so many cool things you can watch, like this and this. All of these things are just possible by clicking the subscribe button. You get to see all of the great motorcycle content, all of the great just raw, passionate, artistic expression to keep you entertained. So if you're in a funk, if you need to get out of your depression, if you need to get out of your loneliness, you don't need Tinder, you don't need anything. What you need is to click that subscribe button now, because it'll solve every single one of your problems. Trust me, I would do it. Actually, I already did.
Okay. Hopefully that got a little bit of a chuckle out of you. Trying to be silly, but seriously, I appreciate you guys hitting the subscribe button. The subscribe count subscriber count is growing exponentially, and it's been really great to see. I've been seeing more comments, I've been seeing more thumbs up, I've been seeing less thumbs down, so it just kind of shows me that you guys are enjoying what's going on here. You guys are enjoying what I'm doing, and it's keeping me motivated and stoked to keep making these videos. I've been regularly churning these things out now since I've kind of seen that growth, and it's just been really good feeling. Not to get too sappy or serious, but I am definitely a person that suffers with some sad boy vibes. I have the clinical depression, but making these videos and riding these bikes and just tinkering, all of this stuff really helps me stay happy and helps me just kind of, you know, see the positive in the world. I love your positive comments. I love every single one of you that has commented that you're interested in this bike, or you bought this bike specifically because I told you how cool it was. I really do think this bike and the other mini motos here are really special motorcycles, and I'm glad to share them with you, and I'm glad to inspire you guys to ride them. Hopefully, if you're feeling down and out, or unmotivated or sad, or whatever you have going on, stressed, hopefully mini moto content and riding mini motos will just help, you know, stay afloat, help you just kind of stay a little positive, or help you see the light, you know. Yeah, not to be sappy, but I had to say that. Let's get into the parts for real now that I installed, and I'll talk you through what I did.
Okay, like I said, the whole day of work was dedicated to powering my devices, getting kind of everything more accessible. So to kind of do that, I installed this extra bar. A lot of the dirt bike bars will already have one of these, but since this isn't a true dirt bike bar, since it is so tall, it did not come with a crossbar. I imagine that some generation of this bike will come with a crossbar factory. It really needs it, especially if you're going to be doing any kind of adventuring. These bars are crucial just for getting more devices on there. I do plan to run a front rack here that will kind of sit right atop the headlight, so I can get basically a bag of goodies on there. I'm going to put like extra cables and batteries and whatnot in there, and then there's a little bar that goes above it that I could also mount things to. In my master build sheet that's in my brain, that bar will support my 360 camera's selfie stick, and then this bar here that I installed will be managing my cell phone and my designated GPS unit. I want to figure out how to get both those things to fit without impeding on the being able to see the gauge here, because this is super important to know if you left your turn signal on, which I do all the time. Sorry to those of you who have commented, hey, turn your turn signal off. I forget all the time, and I have a valid excuse why I forget all the time. It is the Harley's fault. Harley Davidson has self-canceling turn signals, and it's the greatest invention of all time. So when I'm on a bike that doesn't have those, I just straight up forget. But yeah, these are really, really crucial for mounting your devices. So I got that all worked out. There's a loud bus going by. As far as this install, it was pretty straightforward. The only thing I will say is the one I bought, I got it imported from Japan, and the description was completely in Japanese. So I didn't realize that this seam right here is just decorative. I thought that was an adjustment point. It does not adjust out to change length. So there's a very specific spot on the handlebar where it needs to go. And that spot is based on how high this arcs up. You see, that pivots up and down. And right now it's actually a little too high on this side and lower on that side. But you got to make sure that this gap is perfect for this whole bracket system to fit. And that requires adjusting up and down, you know? For me, I had to shimmy all of these down out the way pretty far, like as much as possible, without everything getting pinched up. And just to get that one bolted on, and then I just held this one up and just moved it around until I got it to fit right, and then I tightened it down. Like I said, this side is a little higher, but it's not really bothering me at all. So I'm probably gonna leave it. If it starts to bother me, I'll jump in there with an Allen wrench and adjust it, but that's that. I actually took the turn signal off when I went to do the install. That is completely unnecessary. If you're thinking about trying to install this and you can't get this thing to shimmy down, trust me, it will work. Do not take the turn signal off. It is a nightmare to put back on. If you can leave it on, do it. But once I got that all buttoned up, it was really nice to add this other guy here, which is my new quad lock. On the Harley I ran, I don't know if you can see that, I ran their kind of heavy duty aluminum one, or it's like billet, I think. But either way, it's the strong metal one. This one is just their little plastic. It's like glass filled nylon or something. Pretty basic one, but it is doing the job just fine. I plan to at some point maybe swap the two. Since this bike is going to take more bumps and bruises, it makes more sense for it to have the strong metal one, and then to have the Highway Queen have the little soft plastic one that won't really matter. For both of them, I opted for their vibration dampener just to help. Apparently, it will help protect your camera stabilization so the vibrations of your motorcycle don't damage your cell phone. Whether or not that's true or not, whether it's just a cash grab, I don't know, but it's a cash grab that I took the gamble on and I bought it. If it is actually true and it actually does work, it's worth it for the small extra investment. Granted, I will say, for years and years and years, I ran RAM mounts that don't feature that technology, and none of my phones are broken. But phones are getting nicer, image stabilization is getting nicer, so maybe it's like an advancement in technology has caused this problem. But either way, I bought it. Maybe you should too. I am not sponsored by Quad Lock whatsoever. I just legitimately think it's a good brand. It's a good product. A lot of times you'll see motovloggers like shilling products and it's just like whatever. It's just like another thing, you know, it's just the same. It's like the Ridge wallet, which I use. I use the Ridge wallet, but it's just like every other minimalist wallet. I feel like as motovloggers start getting like sponsorships, they start trying to sell you shit, and I don't want to be that guy. But I really do like these. The Quad Lock is better than the RAM mount, in my humble opinion. So if you're looking for a recommendation, get it. But I have that, you can see here, I have that holding the cable for my cell phone. My idea here is that this cable will power my cell phone, which runs on USB Type-C. And then hopefully I will find a designated GPS unit that also runs on USB Type-C. But
much like a cell phone, has an internal battery. That way I can charge this up once it hits 100. I can charge this up once it hits 100. I can just keep, like, you know, moving back and forth, charging all my devices. 2 of my 3 cameras, the Insta360 One RS and X3, I believe they're called. I don't even know what they're called. I have 2 Insta360 cameras. They both are charged on USB Type-C. And my 3rd camera, which is the one I'm talking to you on right now, is the Canon GX7 Mark II. It does not run on USB Type-C, so it's not a royal flush, not a complete sweep, but if most of my devices, like 4 or 2 cameras and 2 like other electronic devices, run on the same cable, that is really nice, especially because that cable is running off of the bike. And the bike is protected, its battery is at least protected by the Kickstarter. So it kind of has like a renewable source of power, you know? I can charge all of my things without having to worry about if I have enough batteries with me, if I have the proper dock or whatever. That was the thing I hated about GoPro cameras. They would eat up batteries so quickly, and then you'd have the little docks to hold batteries, but they would only hold 3 batteries for the most of them, and they don't stay in there very well. It was just kind of a chore to carry around those bricks to charge batteries. This will be so much easier just to be able to just throw the cable into the camera and charge the one I'm using or the one I'm not using, because all of them run on the same thing, you know? So I can just keep using whatever device is charged. I can use the cell phone for navigation. I can use the GPS for navigation. I can use either of my 360 cameras for filming. They both have a microphone adapter that is shared. It's just all universal and great. But as far as the charging goes here, this is called the Optimate. I don't know if you can see that there, but it is called the Optimate. I bought this on Revzilla for like no money. It was like 30 bucks. The factory mount here for the Honda brand charger actually worked for me. I just cut a slit in it and slid my cable through it. I coiled around some extra cable there because this cable is just way too long. I do have a shorter one somewhere that I plan to swap in that's just like the perfect length, but it's better to have too much and not need it than to have too little and it be popping out all the time, so maybe I'll leave it. But speaking of too much cable, I zip tied here to hold this guy on there. It is the gauge to tell you if your battery is draining, if everything's going according to plan. These Optimates will drain your battery if you leave them on and the bike not running for too long. If you leave it on for several days without starting the bike, you're gonna start draining your batteries. Just keep that in mind. With that being said, like I was saying, too much cable. I coiled it around the reflector here to kind of take up all the excess. The reflector's hiding it perfectly, so you can't even really tell from this angle, but there's a whole bunch of cable wrapped around that. And then I slid down here, and right here I have the quick disconnect, so that if I'm not gonna ride the bike for a long time, I can just unplug there. That way it's not draining the battery. And then if I turn the bar's locked. There's a cable stay there. The bar is locked. I don't know if I have the key on me. I do actually have the key. Oh my God, here we go. Hold on. There we go. There's a cable stay there that I have the cable just routed through to keep it up and high, because if you don't attach it there, it will get underneath your tall fender. It will get all in the way here. This just helps like loosely guide it to where you want it to go. And it being loosely guided is very important. You don't want this to be taut because the whole thing is gonna move. I have it to where if the bike's at full lock that way, no pinching. If the bike's at full lock that way, no tugging. You don't want it tugging on this because it might disconnect. You don't want it tugging on the battery terminals because they might break. You want everything loosey-goosey, lots of like loose tolerances. It's like the Harley Davidson way. Nothing's under stress if it's a little too big and a little too loose. That sounds horrible, but that's the coiled up right there. I have it zip tied just so it doesn't try to get unloose and start unwinding. A few clever placed zip ties, lots of coiling around, and this whole system will run off the bike. Like I said, if I did happen to leave this and it drained my battery, the bike has a backup Kickstarter, so I can still fire it up, charge the battery, charge all my devices. And I have a jump pack that will also run off the same exact connector. So I can unplug here, plug in the jump pack, and fire it off. Just kind of like that redundancy. You want your things to run on the same cables. You want your things to be able to communicate with each other really well. And that's just kind of my route to doing it. If everything runs on the cable, on the same cable, I'll always have way too many of that cable, which is good, you know? It's better to have and not need than need and not have. But
that's the front end so far. There's still a few things left to do to it. I'm gonna run new mirrors. I'm gonna run Enduro folding mirrors. They actually run off of a little bit that looks like, I think I got one over here, that looks like this. That little like kind of ball and socket dude. The mirrors will have that on there, so that way if you are going off-road and you're worried about something breaking, you can just loosen it and fold the mirror in completely. So I'm gonna put those on there and ditch these stock ones, though the stock ones aren't horrible. They do the job, but I'm gonna ditch those for the fancy Enduro ones. That rack I told you guys about, I have to figure out the GPS unit. If anybody has any suggestions for that, please let me know. My requirements are, I need it to run without internet, of course. I just want to be able to download a map to it. I want it to have an internal battery so it doesn't have to be plugged in all the time. And I want it to charge on USB Type-C. So those are my requirements. If you know a GPS that fits the bill, let me know. But after that, that'll be kind of donezo for the front end. I know I didn't mention the suspension or the wheels. That is because I'm not considering that a front end mod. I'm considering that a full bike mod. So once the front end is done, I'll do the middle. Once the middle is done, I'll do the rear. Once the rear is done, I'll do the suspension and wheels and just kind of round it all out. I found a supplier on the wheels. I have to confirm. They are in Thailand, so I have to confirm that the wheels are actually legit, that they'll actually fit. So I'm gonna probably feed an email into Google Translate and send that off to try to get an answer from them. As far as suspension, I'm just gonna go to Man in the Box. There's a bunch of stuff on there for the bike. I'll pick whatever looks the fanciest and nicest, whatever has some good reviews. But yeah, the front end is moving along nicely. I am very happy with the direction the bike is going. I'm also very happy with the amount of you guys that are like watching these videos. I appreciate the support. It has been great how many cool comments I've been getting, how many new subscribers I'm getting. Everything has just been really, really, really sick. I love this motorcycle. I love making content on this motorcycle for you. And yeah, it really does make life a little bit better. So if you like your life being a little bit better, again, support my sponsor, the subscribe button. Click that below, click thumbs up, leave me a comment about where you think the direction of the bike is going, if you think you like it, if you hate it, if you like a different mini moto more. I personally think this is the greatest mini moto, but if you like another one, tell me your reasons below. I think some of them have a really compelling case to be made for them, so fire off down below. But last but not least, go out, ride your motorcycle if you have one. If you don't, maybe go to a test ride. If you don't have a test ride near you, just go get some snacks. Yeah, get ice cream, get some cake, get some pie. What's your favorite dessert? Leave your favorite dessert in the comments below. That's more important than motorcycles. Forget these stupid motorcycles. Let's go eat cake. I'll see you all in the next one.